Well, guess what? Cancel culture strikes again. You traumatize one child, and all of a sudden, you're labeled problematic. I mean, all I did was explain to them that when they inevitably die, they'll get judged and get sent to a realm of unyielding pain, suffering, and anguish, and get poked with pitchforks, burned in a lake of eternal fire, and
suffer for all time.
And yeah, I'm the bad guy. Bring a little culture to your niece's quinceañera, and all of a sudden it's, who are you? Please don't come to our house anymore. What are you doing here? Typical. As the story goes, Satan was an angel named Lucifer who was kicked out of heaven for going full stepson and trying to take over. Despite what that drunk guy at the bar or your weird aunt might have told you, for most of human history, there hasn't been a unified religion around Satan. For centuries, religious minorities and niche orders have been labeled as satanic worshippers for various reasons. Look, it's a lot of work to dissect somebody's fundamental ideological view of the world than it is to just pelt them with rocks while they're getting set on fire. And frankly, a lot less entertaining. Basically, anybody who didn't push all their faith points into the carpenter class were considered heretics and devil worshippers. Puritans burned witches, Catholics burned Muslims, Protestants burned Catholics, and by the 1920s, Protestants burned other Protestants because the way they interpreted biblical text was slightly different. Therefore, more often than not, the accusations of devil worshipping was a cover. The Crusades were old-fashioned imperial expansion. The Salem witch trials were used to settle scores with neighbors. And by the 1950s, the Western world had a new unified tangible enemy that made for the perfect boogeyman. Godless communists! Okay, quick history break. For a long time, Russia had a monarchy with its head figure being known as the Tsar. This Tsar had a smelly hobo wizard friend, but they sucked at running the empire. After getting wrecked in World War I, the Russian people said, yeah, no. So they killed the wizard, killed the Tsar, and put an angry bald man in charge. This man restructured Russia as a communist state, had a stroke, and died. Then this guy took over, and he was just a dick. After World War II, the Allies split Berlin. Russia said, yep, built a big-ass wall, stocked up on nukes, and everyone entered a global staring contest powered by paranoia and passive aggression known as the Cold War. By the 1950s, tensions had built so much that it brought a whole new movement called the Red Scare. Soviet communists, framed as godless heathens by Western governments, were feared to be undermining God-fearing capitalism, sparking a wave of metaphorical lynchings by political repression, spearheaded by Wisconsin's only export more life-destroying than cheese, Joseph McCarthy.
One communist in the State Department, that would still be one communist too many.
An angry, commie-hating senator who found it easier to come up with conspiracies than pass policy.
Are you a member of the communist conspiracy as of this moment?
Led a war against an elite communist spy ring, right up until he accused the army of holding one of his aides hostage, drank himself into a case of hepatitis, and died at the age of 47. McCarthy claimed to have a list of names that were part of an elite communist spy ring. He held public hearings and made public accusations that led to blacklists and even more paranoia. The widely publicized hearings targeted leftist politicians, activist groups, actors, musicians, and eventually queer individuals, based on the belief that their moral deviance made them vulnerable to communist subversives. I never knew that genital preference had so much to do with macroeconomic theory. So what does this have to do with Satan? Well, communists are godless. Therefore, Joseph McCarthy and the McCarthy era didn't root out commies. But it did make everyone get real churchy. The government slapped God on money, in schools, in legislation, and everyone started making appearances at church because they didn't want to get labeled as a dadgum pinko. Though, over the next couple decades, that mentality kinda waned. Counterculture groups rose to prominence, New Age spiritualism got a foothold, and two men with wildly different hairstyles came into public eye to bring a whole new era of scorn from religious folk. Anton Sanzor LaVey, paranormal researcher and Wurlitzer player known for driving a hearse around San Francisco, founded a little thing called the Church of Satan. Not to be confused with the Satanic Temple, which is a different thing. Please don't come for me. While all of that was going on, a strange, dirty hippie was collecting runaways when he wasn't hanging out with the Beach Boys and formed his own little familial circle. Some might call it a cult, which, I mean, yeah, you would call it a cult. It was a cult. He started a cult. The Manson family, led by Charles Manson, murdered actress Sharon Tate in an effort to start a race war. Start a race war? Dirty white hippies, white actress equals race war? Leading to even more paranoia about hippies and cults in general. This made the religious conservatives even more galvanized against non-traditional values. This fear of satanic cults murdering you and your family was pushed even further with books like Michelle Remembers and The Satan Seller. Both books described accounts of satanic ritual abuse, summoning demons, and human sacrifice. Michelle Remembers, written by a psychiatrist whose patient had recovered memories under hypnosis, claimed to have witnessed the summoning of actual physical Satan until the actual physical Jesus intervened. Yeah, seems legit. Satan Seller, meanwhile, was the personal narrative of author Mike Warnke, a Christian evangelist's upbringing as an orphan in the Satanic Order, including ritual sex, ritual abuse, rituals, and kidnappings for rituals. Accepted as gospel by the media, the public at large, and especially the TV generation evangelicals.
She says her family has been involved in rituals for generations.
The paranoia of Satanism was at a boiling point. So when a deranged, mentally ill woman made claims about a daycare hit the scene, all hell broke loose.
Some of them as young as 2 years old were photographed by the suspect.
Satanism is they truly do use blood and they mix it with
Skinny porn was the primary purpose for the...
In 1983, a California woman claimed that her son had been abused by father and a teacher at his daycare, McMartin Preschool.
In the DA's office, all kinds of doubts developed, particularly about the fact that the mother of the first complaining child was psychotic.
Children alleged that a living creature was sacrificed on the church's altar.
Within weeks, she had escalated her accusations, his blood forcefully taken, the teacher in question flying through the air, and children being flushed down the toilet into an elaborate dungeon tunnel system underneath the preschool. Police investigated. They found no corroborating evidence. However, they did the best thing, sent a letter to all the parents of children at the school. Definitely set off some alarm bells, and if you know parents, parents are insane. The media spin on this definitely turned the temperature up, leading to hundreds of children being interviewed by the state.
Puppets to encourage the children to reveal what happened. The therapists were able
And if you know anything about kids, they're always on point with facts and details. The DA charged the owner of McMartin Preschool and her family with abuse. They were arrested and denied bail. Luckily, as the case got closer to trial, a new DA was elected, and just doing a quick once-over of the case, realized there was nothing there and dismissed many of the charges based on perjury, lack of credible testimony, and frankly, bonkers allegations. The woman who'd started this whole thing, she was diagnosed as severely bipolar, experiencing psychosis, and died of a drug overdose before the trial even began, a fact conveniently withheld from the courts and media. Despite being able to look at the allegations and facts of the case and realize it was the ramblings of a crazy person, it didn't stop the panic from spreading. With the books, the narrative, and now a trial, everyone was convinced that in their very neighborhood, it was not only possible, but probable that there was a satanic cultist waiting to force them into demonic servitude. Televangelists, politicians, law enforcement, all took the baseless and debunked stories from people like Mike Warnke as gospel. Movies, toys, music, all satanic influences. Violent crimes, when not blamed on the satanic influence of games, were often reported as done by suspected satanic cultists. Satan was everywhere.
This is the type of stuff that would usually be left behind in a crime scene. Pagan or occultic community.
Witchcraft and Satan.
But became interested in another more bizarre
80%
cult.
of all cartoons deal directly with the
community is, of course, the homosexual community.
Satanism.
People claim to find hidden satanic messages when turning records backwards, hidden in song lyrics, and a global satanic cabal that controlled the media, the government, even your children. Won't somebody please think of the children? I'm so glad we outgrew all that.
took on the mantle of high priestess of the Satanic Church.
Who tried to get me into the cult.
I mean, I believe the devil is real and that he works.
Power does Christ have over the demonic?
You're with the devil.
Anime is Satan.
Illinois Elementary School is offering an after-school Satan club.
The satanic rituals.
But they must ask the people.
It looked like the devil, and he liked that, you know.
So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Just be a good person. Like, it's not hard. Am I crazy here? Like, fuck, man. Well, fucking quit being dicks. That's all I'm saying. Man, everybody gotta make everything more complicated than it needs to be. Spookies.
And I heard you yelling about communism.
Why aren't you focusing, camera?
And where does Skeletor live?
But now this is how occultists talk to each other.
And everybody goes, oh no, not Furby.